Hey, good evening. Kathey Batey here, Divorce Support Anonymous. It's Friday night, Facebook Live. Wanted to come to you, jump into your day, and just to say hey, and hopefully give you a word or two of encouragement, some tools to use, some thoughts to inspire, and just so that you know you're not alone going through the trauma of divorce. I'm glad you joined me. Really glad that you're here. I hope you have been able to take advantage of the opportunity of listening to the seminar of how not to screw up your kids going through divorce. It is still available, the recorded version. It's lengthy, but it's worth every minute. And gathering these experts and listening to their words of wisdom in dealing with our children through the trauma of divorce. I love the seminar. I love the people that spoke. They had such great hearts and such great wisdom. So if you've not taken advantage of that, please take advantage of that. It is there for you to do so. Shortly, it'll be uploaded on Right Now Media. So if your business or church is part of Right Now Media, you will have access to this seminar divided into 5 segments. So bite-sized pieces. So that's one announcement. Another announcement, if you've not gotten your copy of 30 Days of Healing After Divorce, I have a special offer for this book through the month of May. This book is $10 and I will ship it to you, no cost. After that, it's going to be on Amazon. It'll be $12.99 plus you'll pay shipping. So if you want to wait, great, but why? $10. So what you do is you simply, let me find this here, go to paypal.me/Kathey Batey and ship me $10 and ask for your email address or your mail address, and I will send that out. Sent a few out today, in fact. So would love to get that book in your hands. Other announcements, let's see. April 28th. No, let's go April 20th. April 20th, if you're in the Grand Rapids area, we are having an in-person support group, 10 weeks. We'll come together, we'll be together, we will process through the trauma of divorce. If you feel like, you know what, I feel like I'm kind of through the divorce, the grieving, the processing of it, but I also am asking the question, what now? And I have something for you, for those of you who are saying, what now? After the divorce, are you trying to put your life back together? So we are going to have April 28th. We are going to virtually have a group, Redesigning Your Life, using this book, which is Building Your Future After Divorce. We'll spend 8 weeks together going through this workbook, different topic every night. And what we do is we work toward a new life declaration. So at the end of the group, we're going to have formed a new life declaration, which is going to be our theme and our guide for building our new life. It's an exciting program. I love to do this. I love to work with those of you who are raw in the process of divorce, but I also love those people who have done some of their inner work. Not that they're fully healed, but they're through it. The divorce is final, but they're just asking the question, what now? So we're going to spend 8 weeks together. So you get this book. I mail you this book when you register, and you also receive this book, which is Processing Your First Year After Divorce. Lots of good insights in there to help you through. So let's see, enough of that. Topic tonight, where do you find your joy? Times are so heavy right now. I've got several granddaughters who are playing sports, and everything's iffy, up in the air. They're being canceled, and some grandsons for that matter. So the world is just so heavy right now. And especially if you're going through this period of life, it's like, oh, give me a break. So I wanted to talk tonight about, where do you find your joy? And I hope you're on a mission to find your joy and find sustaining joy, not happiness, based on circumstances, but real joy that can sustain you through the COVID, through the divorce, an anchor to hold on to. So very important. So where do you find your joy? I'm asking you, and I'm hoping that you're forming some questions or some answers to that. And you can comment if you want or text me, and let's chat. Let's chat of where we find our joy. So people find it in all kinds of different places, right? We can find it in relationships with our family, relationships with our children, relationships, friendships, or some of us find our joy in our spiritual life. Living a spiritual life brings us joy, brings us peace, brings us joy. Maybe we find our joy in accomplishments. We're someone who really likes to accomplish things. And when we get done with that, we feel this fulfillment and this joy. Or maybe it's status. Maybe you've worked a lot in your life and building up your status in your community. Maybe that's where you find your joy. Perhaps it's in possessions of having a nice house, a nice car, a nice retirement fund. All of those things might bring you joy. Maybe it's animals. I know many of us find animals. I've got my little dog right here, and she's not doing real good tonight, so she's in my lap. She's an old girl. She's 14. So maybe it's animals. I know that I've got some wild turkeys in the back and some bluebirds that come to my feeder and some deer, and that brings me just a lot of joy. And all of these things, except for living the spiritual life, are kind of temporary, and they can be disrupted very easily, right? Accomplishments can be taken away or forgotten. Status can be undermined. Relationships can fail. Animals, they don't last forever. I wish they did. So all of these things can be temporary. But I also believe that joy is a decision that we make. And joy is not something that's, happy, sweet, great, fuzzy, warm, fuzzy feelings. Joy actually makes a difference in our life physically as well. It actually lowers our blood rate, our heart rate, our blood pressure, makes our immune system stronger. It allows us to have fewer diseases. So joy has some real benefits that are beyond an emotional happy. In fact, there is a difference, right, between happy and joy. So where do you find your joy? And if you are in despair right now and say, I don't have any joy right now. Many of us going through divorce have forgotten our dreams. We've forgotten our goals. We've forgotten our dreams because we spent so much time simply surviving a negative relationship that we've forgotten what does bring us joy. And so we need help getting back to center, don't we? We need help. And one way that we can help ourselves is to find those people who bring joy and life and sunlight into our life. We don't need to be around negative people right now. We've got enough that we're bearing, that we're carrying. We need to find those people who have joy. And some people just exude joy. They have this wonderful temperament. You never see them down. They're not Pollyanna-ish, but they're just always upbeat and have this refreshing attitude of joy. Find those people. And you say, well, where do I find those people? Maybe you need to search in different places than what you are currently visiting. Maybe you need to visit a different church or churches or a women's group or a men's group, a meetup group, somewhere that you can be around people that are life-giving, that are sunlight. Be around those people because they are going to lift you up. But part of our inner work right now is rediscovering what are those passions that we have that bring us that joy, that bring us that contentment, that peace that we long for. And it's different for each of us, but we need to find it again because we need joy in our life. We need a time to find joy. We need to laugh. I remember one year, my New Year's resolution many years ago was, I need to laugh more. This year, I want to laugh more. And I tried to make that my motto, that I was going to laugh more. So maybe that's what we need to do, is to determine I need to be around lighter people. I need to find opportunities to laugh. Maybe it's some of those old corny videos or shows that we watched as a kid or when we were much younger that gave us that belly laugh. So maybe it's gratitude. Gratitude gives us joy, an internal joy when we can look around and be present and be grateful for what we have. Maybe it's food on the table, heat in the house, very basics maybe. They can bring us joy when we can be present and be grateful for the things that we have, to observe the things that we have, and to see not that the laundry basket's overflowing, but that we have children who are active and healthy and create dirty clothes, giving it that perspective, that bent. And of course, our truest joy is going to be when we have that internal peace that only God can give us, that only God can sustain in us. And there are several verses. If you go and you search, Google search Bible verses about joy, a whole list will come up. And this is one of my favorites, that Jesus said, until now, you've asked nothing. Ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. I love this because it tells the character of God that he wants us full of joy. He doesn't want us heavy and burdened. He wants us full of joy. Joy is part of the fruit of the Spirit, the scripture tells us. It's part of the Christian life and having faith. Another one of my favorites, I love this for a couple of reasons. I used to have 8 acres in woods, and I created these slate signs in the woods, took slate and painted on them. And this was one that I painted. You've made known to me a path of life. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. And we don't think about that enough, about within God's hand are pleasures forevermore that he longs to give to us. So where do you find your joy? And are you searching in the right place? And maybe you've forgotten what it is that brings you joy. And you need to do that search, that work of remembering, what was it that I love to do? Maybe it was something like music or poetry or artistry, painting, or maybe it was something like riding dirt bikes or rebuilding cars, or, the list is endless. But we have been so suppressed and depressed by the divorce that we've forgotten so much of what brings us joy. So I want to encourage you to just bring out a pad of paper and start writing down, what were the things that brought me joy in the past? What are the things that bring me joy today? Maybe it's the laughter of my children. Maybe it's when my kids are getting along. Maybe it's when someone gives me a compliment. And maybe we can find joy by serving other people and bringing them joy. Or maybe we're paying for the guy behind us in his McDonald's order or his Starbucks order. maybe that will inspire some joy within us and make our step a little lighter. To find joy, we have to, and I'm referring to some of these notes that go on quite a while, so I keep running along. I'm sorry about that. When I became free, a friend gave me 10 chickens. I've never had chickens before, but they bring me joy. Oh, I love that. I was just talking to my cousin who got chickens, and I want chickens, but I can't have them. I live in a condo, but I have wild turkeys, but they don't lay eggs. I love that. A friend gave you 10 chickens. Finding that something new that can excite you and bring you joy, whether it's chickens or buying something new for the house, or serving other people, whatever brings you joy. Let's start focusing on those more. Let's get this energy going and moving, so that we are creating joy in other people and in ourselves. Laugh more, be in nature more, get those endorphins moving by getting out in nature and moving. And I'm looking at some of these things that I have listed here. Set a goal, do something fun and crazy. Do something, take a risk, a good risk, a healthy risk. Put yourself out there. And then if it doesn't work, enjoy the moment of what you learned. There's so much opportunity for joy in your life. Yes, even now. And it's up to you to be searching it out and finding it. Because joy is a decision. It's an attitude. It's looking at the glass half full and being grateful that there's anything in the glass at all. Hope this helps. Hope it gave you a glimmer of hope to start looking for the joy in your life. See you next weekend, and have a great one. We'll talk to you then. Connect with me if I can be of any service to you. Take care of yourself.